Yeah. Turn it down a little. It's too much. There. Test, test. And make sure there's no effects on it. Hello. Test.
Yep. And we need to have the Dell turned on.
Tech is supposed to.
We're just waiting for our Zoomers to come in. But in the meantime, we can learn the melody that we're going to sing at the beginning. This is a melody called Janika's Melody that I learned some decades back, and it goes like this. We wish you a good Shabbos, such a good Shabbos. We wish you a good Shabbos. Lie, 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 lie. 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 Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, la 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 la. ya la 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 la. We wish you a good Shabbos. Such a good Shabbos. We wish you a good Shabbos. Lie, la 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 la. La 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 la. We wish you a good Shabbos, such a juicy Shabbos. We wish you a good Shabbos. La 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 la. La 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 la. Now at this point, I'm in unfamiliar territory because not just that I haven't had the blessing of being with all of you at right here at Bethel, but at the same time, we're still waiting for our technical abilities to be able to get all those people who are waiting on Zoom.
No, they're with us.
They are with us.
Just your computer is not with us.
Just my computer. That's wonderful. Well, on Zoom, I was worried you weren't here with us. So glad you are here. My name is Cantor Ken Jaffe, and it's my great privilege and pleasure to be here to help to bring in Shabbat with everybody. But not only do we say Shabbat Shalom, but we also say Chag Sameach. We're still in the midst of Passover, and if you're going to be in the Oneg afterward, or if you were there beforehand, you know there was no challah, and there's no challah over there. There's no fat stuff, just the flat stuff. So that's what we got. And so at this point, we will we do want to bring in Shabbat, and we do that in always in a special way. As the sun goes down, we want to bring in the light of Shabbat physically. And so I'd like to invite those to come up for lighting the Shabbat candles. Haley. So thank you, Haley. Haley will be lighting the candles. And for those who would like to follow along, if you have your Sidurim, we are on page 120. 120.
Read that first.
Thank you.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lecha likner, Shel Shabbat.
Haley, thank you so much. And one of the beautiful things about bringing in Shabbat with the candles is it's one of the things, it connects us to one of the things that we're supposed to do with Shabbat enjoyment, and that is we're supposed to incorporate all of our, as many of our senses as possible. And maybe you couldn't have this, that I had this wonderful advantage, because when Haley lit the Shabbat candles, I also got the scent of the candles burning as well, and so getting to hear your beautiful voice as well. So seeing and hearing and smelling and even feeling, because when we sing, we can feel our spirit moving through us, through our body as well. So it's a beautiful, full experience. And so we will begin our service where we have our Kabbalat Shabbat service. You know, the opening part of our service is really the newest part in the edition of really the canon of Jewish prayer. And it's very new, only 1600, you know, only that just 400 years ago or so, they added these materials. But it was a radical departure. They said, you know, every single evening prayer starts with one little line and then Baruch Hu. And then the Kabbalists in Safed and Tzafat, northern Israel, said, I think we got to do this one a little bit differently. We got to prepare this. And so they decided to get a collection of 7 psalms representing 7 days of the week. And right before the 7th psalm, they had Shlomo Alkabetz wrote this magnificent poem that we know as L'cha Dodi, and that all of a sudden changed the whole feeling of everybody being there, because they weren't doing it in the sanctuary, they weren't doing it in a synagogue, they were doing it out in the Pardes, out in the field. And the Hebrew word Pardes actually is not a Hebrew word, but we hear the word paradise, all right? Out in the orchards, out in the beauty of nature, to smell and see and watch the sun go down, and to physically welcome the Shabbat as they went back into the sanctuaries. And so we get to do that a little bit, especially when we rise up for our last verse of L'cha Dodi, which we will do. But before that, we're going to open up with Lechu Neranana, which we can find on page 130. Please join along. 130. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Tetzui Shenu, Nekad Mafana Bitoda. Naria, Naria, Tetzui Shenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. 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 And on page 100, I'm sorry, I probably said 120. I meant 130, so please pardon me. On page 130, let's all read together in the English, right on the bottom in the center of the page where it says, "Come, let us sing." Together? Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. For Adonai is a great God. the great ruler of all divine beings. And so we will continue on. If we turn to page 138 for our love poem to Shabbat, Lecha Dodi. We're going to be singing, by the way, verses 1, 3, 5, and the fourth one, verse 9. Don't forget, we're going to all rise up and then face the door and bow as we symbolically bring in Shabbat not only to this room, but bring Shabbat in here. So, Lecha Dodi. So this is a melody. Some people may know this. If you ever lived in Israel, you might have heard this melody just in the chorus. Fortunately, I have a good cantor friend named Cantor Stephen Richards, a very wonderful cantor who wrote many melodies, and he decided he was going to take this Israeli melody, it's very beloved, and he was going to write verses for it so the whole thing can be done in services. And it goes like this. We're on page 138. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Together, everyone. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Shamo v'zacho b'dibur echad Hishmihi anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'letiferet v'litehila Lecha Dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Verse 3. Mihikdash melech yirmelucha Kumitzei mitocha hafecha Rav lach shevet b'mekabacha Vehu yachamol alayich chemla Lecha Dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri Kiva ore Kumi ori Uri Shidaberi Kevod Adonai alaich nigla Lecha Dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. And now we're going to rise as you're able, as we face the door. Verse 9, Bo'i v'shalom. Bo'i v'shalom hateret ba'ala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Tochem unei am segula Bo'i chala Lecha Dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela. before we take our seats, before we take our seats, what I love to do is, we've just greeted the Shabbat bride, right? But how many people in this room have you not greeted? And maybe we get a chance to greet each other. Maybe somebody you haven't seen in a while. So I want to have a chance. And Shabbat Shalom to all of synagogue family here who is on Zoom. You are here just as much as everybody else. And so the melody or the psalm that takes us out of the psalms for the week, the 6 ones, is, of course, the psalm for the Sabbath day. And what I'd love to do is ask everybody to take a look, and we could read together on the bottom of page 140, the Psalm for a Song of Shabbat. Let's continue with it where it says, "It is good. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me with your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know. A fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They're full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no law." Tzaddik אתה מרפרע כארז בלבנון יזכה, סטרולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהי נפיחו, הודינו ושבע בשנים דרעננים יהיו, להגיק ישר אדוני, צורי ולא בלטה בו. And we now will continue with the recitation of the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144, before the call to prayer of the Baruch Hu. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alama divrach yirotei v'yamnich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kahariv, Vimru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevarach, Le'alam ul almei almaya, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitpa'ar, Vitromam, Vinaseh, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemidu Kudsha, Berichu, Le'ela, Minko Bechata, Veshirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Ta'amiran Be'alema, Vimru Amen. Amen. So all of that was our introduction, long introduction, so that we're really ready when we say Baruch Hu, which I like to, whenever I teach kids, I like to call this holy roll call, right? It isn't a prayer. It isn't a statement of belief. It just, It's the cowbell telling everybody, prayers time going on. And so we will be turning now to page 146 for the call to prayer. I'd like to ask everybody to please rise as you are able as we chant together. Yeah, am I awake? Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So we're getting our glitches out. By the way, before we do that, it's been so wonderful working with Jory. He's a great musician, so I'm very lucky. Thank you. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach And you may take your seats. And let's take a look at the reading on the bottom of page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light, yet together. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Haravim. We continue now on the next page as we go from the prayer of creation, God bringing on darkness, to the next prayer. And it really talks about a progression. Right, there's this idea in Judaism, there's many ideas about, what is the maker, what is the nature of God the maker. And there is this theory of that God was the watchmaker, kind of got the clock working, rounded up, and then said, I'm out. God, the view of God in Judaism is that God refreshes, renews creation every single day. And not only that, God remains in our lives in a palpable way. And the prayer Ahavat Olam is a testament to that God loved the Israelite people so much and all of the world so much that God wanted to give instruction to people to figure out how to do all this life thing. And so Ahavat Olam is that prayer, is that poem to God, thanking God for giving us Torah and teachings. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amecha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Hakein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu Ukumenu na'asiach b'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ובהם נגי יום ולילה, נגי יום ולילה. ועבדך אז תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
And we continue now with the one statement, the complete statement of Jewish belief, the Shema, on page 153. Please rise as you're able.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Shem kevod malechuto leolam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malechuto leolam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. We're working out the kinks still. I know that it's tradition here that the Ve'ahavta is chanted, but I wanted to introduce you to a melody that I wrote, and it was something that was very close to my heart, that I wanted to have a Ve'ahavta that helped people learn how to say the words beautifully and correctly, but use a melody that really engaged, because I love Debbie Friedman's "And Thou Shalt Love," but it's in English. And so I tried to capture some essence of her approach in writing this Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha u'ayom alevavecha v'shinantam lefanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha bebeitecha uvlechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uvkumecha ופשטם לאות הידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, על ידיך בין עיניך, ביתך ובשעריך.
So our next prayer, it's very interesting that we go from these two prayers about God doing all these things for the people of Israel, and then we are having this conversation with God, that we praise God for all these things, and then we get to have a conversation back to God and saying that we should love God as well. Because I don't know about you, but a relationship without two ways is not a very good relationship. And so we then continue on with the V'ahavta, with this idea of God's redeeming us. And of course, we're in that holiday. We're in the holiday of Pesach. This is the very reference to being taken out of Egypt doesn't happen once a week, doesn't happen once a day. It happens several times a day. This is a focal point in Jewish thought, that we are saved, we have been redeemed, and with that freedom, now we have the power to do right with that power. And so we will continue with the singing of Mi Chamocha on page 158, and because we are in Pesach, we're going to use one of the most beloved melodies, and that is Adirhu, one of the 4 closing melodies that we find in the Passover Seder. And this one really talking about that we are going to be taking that freedom and making a tabernacle for God, whether or not it's physical or in our own hearts. Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Mi Kamocha Netar B'Kodesh Nora Tehilot Osef La 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 Ra'u v'hanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני. We praise you, God Adonai, for redeeming Israel. And before we come to our Amidah, we're going to be singing the melody Yismechu. And this is very joyous. It's very interesting. Is I have a good friend who is telling me about and she's not Jewish, and she has a friend who is pretty strict in his orthodoxy. And whenever she says you should be happy, he gets upset. And I'm like, why shouldn't it be? We're commanded to be joyful. Chag Sameach, be happy in your holiday. Yismechu, we're commanded to be happy. Who is allowed to tell us to be happy? God. and nobody else. You know, he says, hey, buck up, smile. Only God. And so God's telling us, be happy right now.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת מקדשי שביעי שבת כולם יספרו ויתענגו מטובך שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת זכר למעשה וראשית שבת זכר למעשה וראשית שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
We should be happy. And now we'll, hopefully we're ready now. All this has been a warm-up for tefillah. You know, the tefillah is that part in our service which is a replacement. It's not even a replacement, not even a substitute, but it's in the place of where our offerings would be. And of course, what are our offerings now? Not physical objects. It's our words. Our words that come out of our lips, our intentions. And so hopefully we'll feel ready as we turn now to page 164 as we sing together Adonai Sifatai and the opening of our Amidah, our standing prayer. So please rise as you're able as we turn to page 164. La 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 Adonai. Anananananana Sifatai Tiftach. Anananananana Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. La 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 Adonai. La 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 Sifatai Tiftach. La 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
la 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 Adonai. La 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 Svatai tiftach. La 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 Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Continuing on page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Hasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol Ve'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. 168. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Atol Atah, Rav leHoshia. Now we change. Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Nofelim Verofe Holim, Umachir Asurim, Kayem Emunato, Lishene Afar, Michamocha Gevurot Umidom Elach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Ata Lechayot Hakol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh Hakol Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh U'Goroshim b'Kol Yom Yahalalu Chasela Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue the Amidah silently through page 179. Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam Shalom רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Jory, can't thank you enough. I feel like I've been playing with him for years. So again, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So I wanted to ask a question for some of you. I say the word Omer. Has anybody ever heard this word before? Omer. And I'm not talking about Omer Pyle or Omer Simpson. But the Omer. This word Omer is something that a lot of progressive Jews sometimes lose out on. And sometimes even conservative Jews and probably not most Orthodox Jews. But it's something that's very powerful. This thing, this is Omer, is this thing that we count starting the second day of Passover, actually during the Seder. And it's counted for 49 days through Shavuot, until Shavuot happens. And that comes up then after it's done, then you have 50 days. And of course, Shavuot means, what's a Shavua? When we say Shavua Tov after Shabbat, we're saying have a beautiful week. Shavua, Shavuot, plural. And it's 7 times 7. Add 1, you got 50. It's also connected for those who are from the Christian background, Pentecost, except they do 5 times 10. We do 7 times 7, they do 5 times 10, but get to the same number. Add 1, you get to the same number. And so the holiday of Shavuot and Pentecost are the same festival in a sense. And so we're counting this thing called Omer, but even before I mention it, do we have anybody who has a recollection of what this Omer even references? We're counting something. Not counting fingers, we're counting Omer. Carolee is correct. A sheath of barley. So that is like a bundle of barley. One of those is an Omer. And as we are coming to the barley festival, barley harvest, the full harvest of this, in the temple times, this fascia of a bundle of barley would be brought to the temple as part of the offerings. And they would keep on counting it until you got to those 49 days. And it's interesting, though, is that traditionally, our culture is usually we do what happens at, on New Year's Eve in Times Square. 10, 9, or 8, or the rocket is about to launch. 10. We do a count down. What do we do in Hanukkah? Count up. What do we do from Passover to Shavuot? We count up. And it's this philosophy of adding more, this philosophy of abundance. Long before that became, an unpopular term as it was like 15 years ago. They had all this stuff about this abundance mentality. Well, Judaism has always had that. Has always had that. You don't decrease, you add. And so we have this ability to say, no, we're getting more and we're getting more. And it's this idea, it's not just physical wealth, it's spiritual wealth, that we are growing, that we are going from one place to another. And if you think about it, this is this moment where we leave Egypt, and then 50 days later we celebrate getting the Torah. Now, in the actual story of Exodus, it's a little longer than 50 days. But this 50 days is this kind of inexorable march from freedom, from slavery, but replacing it with something. And it's this idea that we have to take this time to unshackle ourselves from negativity sometimes, right, before we embrace something positive in our life. And in many ways, I look at this as going from service and slavery to a human who called himself a god, to service to God. And of course, service to God means service to each other, service to our communities, service to ourselves, right? And so that's a huge shift. You just can't, you've got to have that space, that ability to count from one thing to another, to say, what am I counting? I'm counting the things that I have. I have this sheath of barley. I bring this. I've got this. I've got this. And so it's about change. It's not about something that's intellectual. It's something that is affective. It's something that's psychological. We have to slowly change our mentality from this mentality of slavery. And remember that with the Hebrews, this was not an easy time for them, right? And in fact, we only see right now that the Israelites left Egypt, right? They saw that Moses opened the sea for them. They got through and then closed up against the Egyptians. And then what? They celebrated and then what? Right? I don't know if it kind of reminds me. Anybody seen? What was it? The movie with Austin Powers, right? Remember the evil guys laughing together and they're and at a certain point they're like. Right, they lose the energy, right? The Israelites, they had the celebration, then they're like, look at each other. Now what? And Moses doesn't know what to do. Moses is flailing. Right after this great celebration, you have all these people who come to him in the portion of Jethro, and they're saying, well, Joseph stole my goat. And Moses is listening to these like small little claim stuff, and he doesn't know how to lead. All he knew was doing the big stuff. Well, now he's in admin, and that is a different skill set. So everybody had to learn something new. The Israelites, they only knew dependence. They didn't have the skills, and in fact, we see that they complain about this, they complain about that, they complain about, oh, but we had leeks and cucumbers and garlic and all this great stuff and fish and stuff like that in Egypt, and now we got nothing. You know, where's our water? Right? They're so dependent. And so, you know, many ways when we have these old patterns, what do we do? I think this celebration of this Omer, I think is a wonderful opportunity for us as a potential daily practice. I almost would love to create a calendar, an Omer calendar, on which every single day we would write about something that we're blessed that we have. And then at the end of the Omer on Shavuot, as we get Torah, we can look at it and we can make that itself as an offering. But we know that it's not easy. Those who are familiar with the 20th century philosopher Erich Fromm, he wrote a whole book called Escape from Freedom. It's this fear of what do you do now? And that is the whole point of Shavuot. The whole point of Shavuot is saying, okay, you got to have a roadmap. And that is that roadmap. And now it's the celebration that, okay, I've gotten myself to a place where I can finally, hopefully, let go of some of those traumas. But very interesting, though, is were the Israelites, the Hebrew slaves who left Egypt, were they able to let go of their trauma? Nope. Right? They're the ones, they had to die in the desert because they were so damaged from 400 plus years of their parents, grandparents, great-great-parents. As far as anybody ever knew, all they knew was dependency and this. And so changing a mindset is probably one of the hardest things to do. Changing ourselves ends up becoming the hardest thing to do. And in fact, this idea that if God gives people agency, gives us ability to have choice, God can't force us, right, to accept a new reality if we ourselves are not ready. And God gives us that power to have our own souls and own choices. Not even God can change us. Only we can change us. And so it's this wonderful opportunity of this holiday and this change from Passover to Shavuot to say, I can change my outlook. And maybe we can do it in small ways. I don't know. I mean, each one of us, I think, has certain ways that we think that enslave us. And it's going to be different from us than other people. And so I wrote this song, and it was for the preschool kids. And I hope you'll like this because I think it encapsulates this idea, this counting of the Omer. Actually, we'd actually need to have somebody doing a tick-tock, tick-tock. If you want to do that, it goes like this. Count the Omer, count the Omer, from Passover to Shavuot. First comes freedom, then you get the Torah. Count your blessings every day. Count the Omer, count the Omer, from Passover to Shavuot. First comes freedom, then you get the Torah. Count your blessings every day. So we have still a great number of days to count the Omer. And in fact, that right now, today is the 5th day of the Omer. And so if you want to use the other 44, feel free to do so. But right now, even as we've done so, I want to just say that of gratitude, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to be here with all of you for possible renewal in my life. And wanted to ask if anybody else has any gratitude they'd like to share. Let's get a microphone. Anybody? I was going to help you with the microphone. Oh, I'll do it.
I'm grateful for my nieces and nephews. One of my nieces is getting married on August 17th, so we're all starting to make preparations. I talked with one of my nephews yesterday, and today I did FaceTime with my niece and her fun.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Oh.
The family was here for Seder, and we sang our great-great-grandfather's songs. I'll sing them for you.
I want to hear, yeah, I want to hear those. I'm a music schnorrer, so anytime you hear about music.
Hi. My daughter visited us for a few days after not seeing her for 6 months because she's doing an internship in Minnesota, so that was really nice. So I'm grateful she was able to fit that in.
That's great. Thank you. Anybody else? Wendy over here.
I'm grateful that we're at the school where I teach, they can provide the right environment for my students to succeed. After the previous exam, my student was telling me all about all this anxiety she has. I encouraged her to go to accessibility services and tell them what they should do, quiet room and extra time. And so she got it. So she took her exam Wednesday, and she left the exam and came to lab so happy because she had a quiet room and extra time, and that would lower her anxiety so she could do well on her exam. And I'm really grateful that we can change the environment to suit the student.
Wendy, that's really beautiful. It kind of reminds me, I think it's also echoes this idea of standing up for ourselves, right? And that changing our narrative, and that going from this poverty mentality to one of wealth. No, I can change the situation if I stand up for myself, and that's so much of what Judaism teaches us, that we have to do that ourselves, even though we're given the tools. But then it's up to us. And so at this point, we will continue with our concluding prayers. I'd like to encourage everybody to turn to the back inside covers of our Mishkan Tefillah as we rise as we're able for Olenu, and I about the Misha Berach. Thank you. Thank you. I knew there would be a mistake here or there, so thank you for. So there's some people. If there's anybody on Zoom, could everybody please mute your camera, your microphones? Thank you. And if you want to write any names in the chat as well, we will mention them during Misha Berach. This is a melody that I wrote for Misha Berach, partially because I was tired of just one melody being sung over and over and over again. Even if I had a melody that I loved, I'd get tired of it, doing it for years and years and years. So I wrote this, and it's actually written in the nusach of what is traditionally in the Torah service, except it's lyrical. It's got some nice lilt to it. Mi sheberach avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham veSarah Moshe Aharon uMiriam
Hu yivarech vir petacholin. Pamela Mangus, Julie Richmond, Colton Wayne Whitaker, John Cruz, Dan Strauss, Darlene Mason, Linda Strawman, Eddie Archibald, Tom Stye, Carrie Bardeen, Robin Mendez, Dorothy Odson, Tim Hayes, Don Oppenheim, Lynn Yarmoff, Adam Perlstein, Marilyn Powell, Donna Melville, Arlene Bloom, Leland Bloom, Mary Kate Bean, Margot Rickle, Christine Gailey, there's Alan Hurwitz, TJ Ludwig, Bill and Christy Grimes, Vicky Andres. Heal them and bless them with strength and spirit, with laughter and life, with courage and grace. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, restore them like streams in the desert. Arif v'nomar, Amen. And thank you for the reminder, Mishiberach. Now we will turn to the back and side covers. We do continue our service with our concluding prayers. With Olenu, please rise as you are able. Breshit, shelo asanu kegoyeh aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechota adama, shelo samchel kenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim, umishtahavim umodim, lifnei malach, Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And let's read on the bottom in English. For you spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your majestic abode is in the heavens above, and your mighty presence is in the loftiest heights. You are our God, and there is none else. In truth, you are sovereign without compare. As it is written in your Torah, know then this day and take it to heart that Adonai is surely God in the heavens above and on the earth below. There is none else. Ushemo Echad. Wow, that's an impressive work. Thank you. You may be seated. We have lost and we miss very much. In particular, right now, we recall the following individuals whose yahrzeits, whose anniversaries of passing we're recalling. We remember Aaron Katz, Richard Archibald, Saul Blumenson, Ryan Caldwell, Werner Koppel, Edie Edelstein, Solomon Gershon, Alan Hoffman, Bernard Katz, Denise Matheny, Harry Rackman, Selma Cardos, Bernard Siegel, Ruth Smiley, Zundel Sokolovitz, Edward P. Tick, Herschel Wallace, Arthur Youngerman, Bertram Ekman, Esther Lee Ekman, Sarah Resnick, Dr. Arthur Siegelman, Ermi Tilton, and if there's anybody else who is remembering anybody for yahrzeit or in mourning, please mention them now. Sorry. We're also recalling the first year, the first yahrzeit of
Chris Eliason, Stephen Hamlin, Suzanne Garner, and Rabbi Mel Young. I'd like to ask everybody who is able to please rise as we turn to page 598 for the recitation of the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal ve'yit kadash shemei rabba yit pa'ar ve'yit romam yit pa'ar ve'yit romam ve'yit naseh ve'yit hadar ve'yit aleh ve'yit halal shemei de kudsha berichu le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nehemata da'amiran be'alama v'imru Amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya v'hayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. You may be seated, and it's my pleasure to call upon the many-fold talented Joy Yarmouth, who's going to be now in his role as president, giving our evening's announcements. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. First of all, I'd like to welcome Cantor Jaffe. Oh, there you are. And thank him for leading such a wonderful service. There will be a Yisker service on Tuesday, April 30th at 12 p.m. In person only. The Yom HaShoah service will be on Monday, May 6th at 6:30 p.m. in person and on Zoom. Guest speaker Remy Lona will talk about the Nazi origins of the genocide in Biafra, followed by a service. Adult Ed will continue Thursday, May 16th and 23rd at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Rabbi Cohn will host Dr. Chris Layton for interfaith discussion of the brothers of Genesis, Cain and Abel, and Jacob and Esau. The annual Bagel and Lox Brunch, organized by TBE's youth group and Carolee Jaspin, will be on Sunday, May 5th from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a wonderful and fun community event that's also an important fundraiser for the youth group. An email with more information went out yesterday. Please note that there are no actual tickets. Once you pay online, you'll get a confirmation email and your name will be added to the check-in list. So, more modern way of getting tickets now, right? Save the date for this wonderful event, the Israeli Independence Day celebration, which we'll have on Sunday, May 19th from noon to 3 p.m. Join us for a fun environment. There'll be Israeli food, Israeli dancing, and more. More information on how to RSVP for that event was sent in the weekly email. Tonight's Open Arms Committee is Sarah Lloyd Mink. Sarah, who's sitting in the back there. Feel free to talk to Sarah after the service and ask any questions you might have about the temple. Like to thank the ONEG sponsor tonight, which is Christine Gailey. Thank you very much for sponsoring the ONEG. Also like to thank Wendy for setting up the ONEG, as she does all the time. She deserves a big thank you for that. And I think she's probably in the back doing that right now. I'd like to thank Asher for doing tech. And like to thank you all for being here. Is there another announcement? There is.
Thank you for really announcing that Bagels and Lox so well. I just want to tell everybody that You can still bring some things if you want for the silent auction. You can save your money for some of the things for the silent auction because we will have some really nice things for the silent auction. And please make your reservations quickly. It is the only youth group event that raises money. Then we do a lot of very good things with the money, some charity events, some fun events. And also Johanna Newman and Susan Levine are part of the organizational committee, and Wendy and everybody else, the whole group.
Okay. Thank you very much, Carolee. Anyone else have an announcement? Okay, well, thank you all. Oh, an announcement. Hold on.
I just want to remind all of the members to please use the survey. The link is in the email that you received today.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. Any other announcements? I think only the board needs to know about that. I hope they know about it by now. So thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.
I got it. 625. I got it. Oh, okay. Thank you. So we will conclude our service with Adon Olam. Hold on. Hold on. Let's get this microphone on. Yes. Okay. This is actually another melody that I wrote. Actually, I wrote it in memory of Debbie Friedman. And but it's a very, very simple melody to learn. In fact, I'll do it once as a nigun, and you're going to hear how easy it is. It goes like this. Lie, 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 lie. Let's do that together. Lie, 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 lie. And then we do it again. Lie, 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 lie. Next part. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Ending is lie, 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 lie. Everyone. Lie, 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 lie. I think we're ready. We're on page 625, Adon Olam. And just to let you know, when we get to the very end, we do that ending part 3 times. So to kind of put a nice exclamation point on the Adon Olam. Adon Olam Hashem Malach בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אף כדרוכי בעת ישן ועירה ואם רוחי גווייתי אדוני לי ולא יירא אדוני לי ולא יירא אדוני לי ולא יירא Bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam
Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. Oh yeah, Kiddush Motzi. That's right. Sorry. So we need help for Kiddush and Motzi, and we, because I mean, Joy, you could drink 3 cups since you did like 3 rolls here, but maybe we could get a few people. Well, I think Christine's been, head of this whole thing. And at that point, I'll maybe ask Christine. Okay, there we go. Okay. And it's been a long time since I've worked with Mishka and Tefillah, and I forgot. Yeah, the Kiddush is on 123. So please rise as you're able. I know. Okay. Oh no, this one's more fun. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. B'Shabbat Kodsho, b'Ahava uv'ratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh, zechen litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Chaim.
Non-alcoholic is very easy to. To God for bread, our voices joy and have. That's not my verse. Our prayer. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tehavon. Or does that mean somebody's gonna have to? Somebody's gonna have to. Vacuum the floor. I guess that's the danger of Pesach, right? No. Okay, that's perfect. Come back and meet some people. Oh, please.
Great job.
Except on the Qadr Dia. I've never played that.
Turn it off back here? No, but I'm saying other stuff that we microphones? Yeah, there's like lights. Not yet.
Not yet.
Turn it off?
Yeah.
It is off now.
Oh, it's not. Green light's on. You got to hold them down for a
red light a
second or
second
two.
ago.